Hey, do you or anyone you know have a certain gait in which they swing their hip around and have that shortened stride on one side? If so, you might be suffering from what's called a hip flexor weakness type of gait. Now, typically with this gait, what we see is the affective leg, which would be this one, has a circumduction type of swing as well as a shortened stride length, and the other leg, the contralateral leg, has a lean towards that direction as well as a propensity to put more weight on this side. Now, why do we want to avoid this type of gait with that swinging type of motion? The reason we want to avoid that type of movement is because it can cause compensatory type of movements that can cause pain in the opposite side. It can also increase your fall risk, and it's just not going to improve the type of pain and those symptoms that you have in that hip. I'm going to give you a couple beginner and then a more advanced exercise in order to reduce the pain in that hip and avoid any type of circumduction so we can begin to walk normal and straight and feel better. So if you're having this type of gait, the first exercise I want you to work on is just bringing that hip up and be able to go into a full flex position of the hip. Once you can do that pain-free and even hold the leg up in certain positions without pain, we then want to grab some sort of resistance and start training that movement that way. So to train the hip flexor with the resistance band, what you're going to do is you're just going to place your feet within the band and you're going to do that same type of movement and you'll feel a really good contraction in the front of the hip. Okay? And for this, work on pulling it up and then holding that isometric. As you improve the strength in that hip, we're also going to want to improve the flexibility and the mobility in that hip. So to do that, what I'll have you do is go onto the ground just like this and then lunge into a stretch until you feel it in the front of the hip right there. And that's where I want you to start if you're just a beginner. Hold for about 30 seconds, 3 to 5 times per day. As you start to get stronger, this stretch feels pretty comfortable. You're feeling very strong in this position. I want you to then that leg up and squeeze through that glute. You're going to feel more stretch in this position. And then that leads me into one of my favorite exercises for the hip flexor, which is a split squat, where you're really going to focus on the eccentric contraction on the way down and then concentrically on the way up. Really get a good stretch in that hip. So if you or anybody you know has that hip flexor weakness type of gait where they're swinging that leg around, make sure to check out this video, perform these exercises, and see if that helps. If you like this information, please subscribe for more health and wellness. Thank you.